Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely everybody wants to know how they can make $100,000 a year. The only issue is there is a lot of BS out there. There is a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot of people who try to make it sound easier than it actually is. So in today's video, I want to break down the 5-step roadmap that I have followed to achieve this. And so this way you can understand what to focus on so that you can begin making $100,000 a year. But I do not want your learning or pursuit of this goal to stop with this video. So I actually have a completely free, like seriously, it's completely free. I'm not selling you on anything, but a completely free self-paced course down in the description down below. It is going to be the first link, and it will help you break down and figure out what we are talking about today, which is low code development. I am a full-time employee and currently making 6 figures with my job as a low code developer and consultant. And I honestly just want to help you also do the same. And the first thing you need to do, this first step in our 5-step roadmap, is to learn a low code platform. And this might seem obvious. You might have just clicked off because you're like, all right, this guy is not going to tell me anything important over the next 30, 40 minutes. But just give me a second, because lucky for you, watching this video is the first step in learning to understand a low code platform. See, here is the thing. I am super passionate on not just about, providing and making money and providing for my family, but really more about reaching my full potential as a person. So developing my skills and building something like a career that I can actually be good at, that I can enjoy, and that I can excel at. Because I think in today's day and age, more and more are things going to constantly change. And so it's kind of like that concept of, catch or give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but teach someone how to fish, and then they have fish, they can eat for a lifetime. So that I am not going to say that I am, the wisest person on the planet, and that, you need to listen to me so that I can teach you absolutely everything there is to know about making money. That I am not that guy, but I do think that I have some valuable experience as far as how I have been able to start my career as what I would consider a young professional, someone who is in my young to mid 20s and is able to enjoy what I do and make enough money to have a sustainable income and living and everything else. So that is what I'm talking about today, and I want to explain what low code development is, because I recognize that even though I talk with and interact with a lot of people that understand and do what I do, the reality is a lot of people do not know what low code development is. So if this is just a shameless plug, if you are listening and if you're a regular listener and you're in the low code software development space, share this with somebody who you think would enjoy, who is currently not in low-code development, but would enjoy or have the soft skills of being a good consultant and low-code developer. That is the objective of today, is just the public service announcement that low-code software development exists and that there is an opportunity for you to make 6 figures. So, what is low-code software development? Low-code software development is developing software. We are creating code, but without having knowing a coding language or, computer science background. So I personally do not know code. I do not know really any coding languages, nor did I study this in high school or college or university. I'm a business major. I'm a business guy. I do not know computer science, but after some time of really learning a low code platform, and realistically just a couple of weeks, couple of months, you're able to start developing software solutions, basic software solutions with low code platforms. And so that's kind of what that is. If that doesn't really make sense, what do I mean even more? I mean the ability to create applications and automations without having to write code. So say, for example, an example I use is, if you've ever had a thought or an idea of a phone application, like a mobile application, imagine if you could just on a notebook draw what you want the screen to look like, and then a computer was able to take what you drew and actually turn it into an app. That's like a low code solution or a low code platform that I'm kind of talking about today. So that is what we're talking about, the low code power platforms. There are, several different platforms out there, and they can help you create software solutions with minimal hand coding. I'm reading kind of a note that I have here, and uses handy visual interfaces and pre-built components. If all of these things sound intimidating, like, trust me, they are not. If people always say this, but I really mean it. If I can do it, you can absolutely do it. And so there's plenty of different platforms out there. We have the Microsoft Power Platform. You have Salesforce Lightning. I have written down Mendix. I haven't necessarily worked with that, but I did some searching into some popular platforms. There's something called OutSystems, Appian, and more. Today, I want to dig into the Microsoft Power Platform. This is what I am well versed in and do for work. I am a Microsoft Power Platform developer and consultant. So I am developing apps, developing automations, developing chatbots. I don't have any personal experience with this, but you have the ability to create external kind of websites, even for businesses. You have the ability to create advanced analytics capabilities with Power BI. This is what the Power Platform is in the low-code solution, or the low-code development platform that I want to talk about and just tell you exists. And I kind of want to dig into it. So specifically, there's several different components related to the Microsoft Power Platform, and it's made up of these different things. The first one being Power Apps. They all kind of have this power, power acronym, I guess. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. There's the Power Apps, which helps you develop apps. There's Power Automate, which helps you develop automations. There's Power BI, which is what builds kind of the analytics and reporting. I feel like Power BI is what a lot of people are, have at least heard before compared to these other ones. There's Power Pages, which allow you to build kind of external facing web pages or websites. And then you have Copilot Studio, which used to be called Power Virtual Agents, but now with the introduction of generative AI, it's shifting to Copilot Studio, where you can create copilots or create agents, as they're called. And so these are the components of the Microsoft Power Platform, and understanding how to build apps, how to build automations, how to build chatbots on these platforms can be incredibly, incredibly valuable. Because here's the thing, I am not creating applications for my phone, right? I'm not creating applications and trying to sell these applications. Like, that is not what we're doing. What I do is I work with businesses and I develop apps for businesses to make their employees' jobs easier. So specifically, say you have a really annoying part of your job that you constantly are kind of having to do the same thing over and over and over again. You could create a Power Automate flow, as it's called, or a Power Automate automation that could automate that process for you. Or you hire someone like me to go create that automation for you. That's a very simple, basic example of kind of what I do. And this is, I guess I would consider it a niche because it's not super well known, but this is like a tested, tried and true industry of software development. Like, this is not cutting edge. You're going to struggle to find people. Like, no, the Microsoft Power Platform is huge, and the amount of people that are involved in this is a ton, and the different businesses and consulting firms that do this is a lot. And I just want to have a public service announcement. I also just have a shameless plug. If you have zero experience with the Power Platform, I would highly, highly, highly recommend the first link in the description down below. Completely free, self-paced course. It will say it's worth $1, but you can use code YouTube as well. In the description, it says that to get it for completely free. And this is going to be like 6 hours of content of me just explaining these different parts of the Microsoft Power Platform, how they work, how you can develop apps and automations at a very basic level to prepare you for, either getting certified with certain exams or to actually go and start developing apps or solutions, as we might call them, for clients. And so, shameless plug for that. I highly recommend you check that out. Also, if you are interested and you want more of a hands-on approach, I am open to one-on-one coaching. You can find a link to that in the course. as well as you can get in contact with me and we can discuss more there. I'm super happy to help. I'm super passionate about teaching what I am learning. That's exactly why I have a YouTube channel where I do this and share what I'm learning. And so I kind of, I don't know, briefly introduced this, but the main part of that course, and what I will not be able to completely cover today, is Microsoft has these certifications that you can get. And these certifications kind of validate in the marketplace in a way that you at least understand what the Microsoft Power Platform is, how it works, and how to at least begin developing solutions. And so that's kind of step number 2 in this roadmap, is once you define, hey, I want to, start learning about this low-code development thing, even if I don't want to make it a full-time job yet, but just start learning about it. If you choose the Microsoft Power Platform specifically, as I'm sure these other platforms also have these, but the Microsoft Power Platform, step number 2 would be to go get certified. And so there are a ton of Power Platform and Microsoft Dynamics certifications. Microsoft Dynamics, if you've never heard of this, are just pre-built apps that you can customize with the Power Platform. Don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but nonetheless, there are a ton of different certifications out there. Some of them are free. Otherwise, they are all relatively inexpensive. I mean, we're talking less than $100. And once you have it, assuming you continue to renew it, it's good for the lifetime of the exam of you having it. So you don't have to continue to pay or anything to stay certified or anything like that. And in case, I just want to provide some, I guess, certification numbers as far as what I would recommend. So the first exam that I got personally and that I recommend to you is the PL 900. And the PL 900 is a very basic, high-level overview of what is in the Microsoft Power Platform, how it works. And that is kind of the entire goal of the course that I mentioned, but enough of that. You're probably sick of hearing about it. The reality is the PL 900, and I am not some sort of super genius. I have zero coding experience, but I was able to go from knowing absolutely nothing about the Microsoft Power Platform to being PL 900 certified in a week. And I am fairly confident that if you spend 6 hours going through the content of what I'm talking about, spin up a trial environment, which there's a video on the channel on how to do that, and start tinkering around, playing, maybe build some really basic app. You can absolutely go ahead and do that for completely free. Then you will be educated enough to pass the PL 900. Truly, truly, truly. If you go through kind of the modules as well that Microsoft provides on the certification page, go through that 6 hours of content in the course, and even start clicking around, you are going to be more than prepared in, say, 1 week or 2 to 3 weeks if you were to take it slower in more bite-sized chunks. And I'm not talking 8 hours a day for 7 days then of studying, then you'd be able to get it. No. I'm talking 2, maybe 3 hours a day. You could get this in a week. And so I just want to help make that more attainable. These are not, you don't have to go learn an entire coding language to understand the PL 900 and the concepts of this and to get a basic but important certification. The next one after that is going to be the PL 200, and I don't want to get too much in the weeds on certifications. This is not a certification roadmap video, but just to spit out some numbers. It's the PL 200. This one is going to take everything about the PL 900 and just take it a little bit deeper. I was able to get the PL 200 about a month after I had gotten the PL 900. And so this was with a good amount of time spent almost every day on studying and, clicking around within the Power Platform to really understand this. This is kind of next level, but is that, beyond basic understanding is the PL 200. And I'm telling you, if you are PL 900 and PL 200 certified, you can at least get a job interview at a developing Power Platform solutions and consulting. If you get those two solutions, I'm telling you, you would at least have an interview. And there's the PL 400, which is much more technical. I actually am not PL 400 certified, but then there's the PL 600. This will not be something I feel like that's very attainable without Power Platform development experience on projects and being a part of a team. But the PL 600 is kind of that next one. That's what we might call solution architect, which is basically a role over consultancy. Like the architect is kind of over the consultants, and you really have to know kind of the big pieces of developing a solution, but not very technical at all and perfectly attainable if you really set your mind to it. Just a couple other exams here that are related to Microsoft Dynamics, which is very closely related to the Power Platform. You have the MB900 and the MB910. These are perfectly attainable. I did not instantly start going for these, but I have colleagues that did, and within a week of learning about what Microsoft Dynamics was, they were able to be MB910 certified. It's kind of the PL 900, really basic equivalent of Microsoft Dynamics. Really simple, really straightforward. As well as if you wanted to get into a specific app of Microsoft Dynamics, so there's a sales app, a customer service app, a field service app, a customer insights journeys or marketing app, you could get certifications on these individual apps as well. And I don't have all those numbers in front of me, but you could do those as well. Typically would take, a couple weeks of studying, really getting into a specific Dynamics app. So that's point number 2, get certified. I hope I didn't just absolutely bore you to pieces, but I think that's really important because that leads into point number 3 is you can actually now start your career. And so what do I mean? Like, that's the topic of this video, right? How do I start a career where I'm making $100,000 a year? And so you can become a low-code Power Platform developer. You don't need a new job or to work at a new company. And specifically, you can find ways to start building apps or building automations at your current job, or if you are really interested, you can jump into kind of a full-time Power Platform consultant role. And so what does that first version kind of look like? Now, these are Microsoft products, and your employer would need some level of licensing to turn you into, a Power Apps developer for them. But this stuff is not incredibly expensive, and you'd actually be surprised how many companies have their employees enrolled in this. So I'd highly recommend you check out the ability to do that and try to develop an app or an automation that makes your job easier. How can I see more information or automate something or automatically send an email when something happens in the system, or automatically add a record to an Excel sheet when something happens in the system? Like, these are all things that you can do. And I think that the reality is if you want to go kind of full time into Power Platform development, then you need a certification or two, and you need some level of experience, like some proof of concept that you have at least built something in the Power Platform, one of the Power Platform maker portals. You have built an automation that does something. You have built an app that does something. And this could give you, whether you wanted to do it in your free time or do it at your current job. And I just want to share that, like, this is possible. And there are the amount of people that I have had on the Power Talks show whose career in Power Platform development started as, hey, I was working at this company and I heard about this thing called Power Apps, and I built an app for my company that allowed me to do this. And then I was able to jump into full-time Power Platform consultancy because I had this experience and yada yada, and I really loved it. Like, the amount of people that have that sort of testimony of career development is insane. And so I just want to let you know that you can do that too. I also want to tell you, a little secret. And that is that you do not have to be an expert in order to get a consultant or associate consultant job. Many people, including myself, I was able to get a job in the Power Platform development, not by lying in my interview or anything, but with the full expectation from my employer that I was not an expert and that I needed to learn a lot. And the thing was I was still hired, as well as several other of my colleagues at the exact same time. And we were brought on and taught everything that we needed to know and brought us up to a level that was much more than just, associate doing this for fun, but actually, where we are on projects, billing against clients, and they are paying us a lot of money to develop solutions. And so I guess I just want to tell you, like, you might have imposter syndrome, and that is okay. But the reality is everybody has imposter syndrome, and that should not be something that stops you from doing what you want to do if this is it. And I also want to tell you, you have more experience than you think you do, because like I kind of mentioned earlier, these are, business to business interactions. I am building apps and automations for other businesses. And you can absolutely carve out your niche for the sort of businesses that you work with. So say, for example, like you are just a retail store manager. I don't have a store example off the top of my head, but say you are just a store manager and you have worked at this, you've been the store manager for 7 years in, retail. You have 7, if not a decade, years of experience in the retail industry. You can absolutely go and start developing apps for other retail companies because you are an industry expert. Yeah, you're not necessarily an expert in how to develop Power Platform components, but you know a lot about the industries, the nuances, the day-to-day, what a day-to-day looks like, what the things that retail people, struggle with, or retail organizations don't typically do well. Like, you know and understand these things really well, better than me. And so you are able to still lean on those transferable skills, the industry expertise that you have. So I'm telling you, you are absolutely not starting from scratch, wanting to get into a career like this. And so a lot of companies, I don't want to use the word desperate, but a lot of companies are looking for more consultants. And if you feel like you have the soft skills, the emotional intelligence, the ability to communicate, the ability to focus, the ability to learn, the ability to be a good teammate, the ability to critically think and problem solve, like if you have these skills, companies would rather hire you and teach you the Power Platform then hire somebody who knows the Power Platform but doesn't work well with teammates, doesn't know how to communicate, is kind of rude and doesn't have, the best emotional intelligence, kind of is sarcastic and no one really cares for him or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, people would rather hire you. Organizations would rather hire you with your decade of industry experience and the soft skills that you have, and then teach you the Power Platform because it's easy to teach you the Power Platform. And so like I said, point number 3, start your career, but it's so much more like loaded than that of just starting your career. It's like you already have started your experience in getting your industry experience. You've already developed the soft skills that will set you miles apart from the rest of the Power Platform and other people wanting to get into low code space. And point number 4, I guess just a hard transition here, just because I thought about it, is and it kind of ties into, I guess, in a way, starting your career. And I understand that this might not be for everybody, but I think that everybody can find how they like to do it. And this is building your brand. And if you listen to this podcast, I do not want to like sound like a broken record here or anything, but let me just tell you some context. Like, the Microsoft's industry and the people that are following Microsoft and everything that they're doing, and the people who work in the Microsoft stack, or the, Microsoft Power Platform, Microsoft Dynamics, these sort of things. I mean, Microsoft owns LinkedIn, right? Like, the Microsoft presence on LinkedIn is astonishing. It is incredible the amount of community engagement that there is on LinkedIn regarding the Microsoft industry. And so if you want to build your career or get into Microsoft Power Platform development, start sharing in any way, however you want to, with others, how you are learning the Microsoft Power Platform, what you're learning, what you've built, and all sorts of everything in between. Because all it takes is like 30 LinkedIn posts, and now you're an expert, or at least considered an expert at something to other people. And I can say from personal experience, like I am not, and I do not consider myself an expert. I do not have even half a decade of experience at this point. I have a quarter of a decade of experience, 2.5 years of experience as of recording this video, and I have had an incredible amount of people who have reached out to me with just their questions and all sorts of different things, because I am viewed as an expert just because I've begun building my personal brand. My personal brand is not huge by any means. So like just the idea of building your personal brand can help you in incredible ways. And it helps you start your career. It really, really does. It helps you jumpstart your career because you don't need 10 years, excuse me. You don't need 10 years of, Power Platform solution, software development skills, or excuse me. You don't need 10 years of Power Platform experience, of software development experience, of Microsoft Dynamics experience, of consulting experience. You don't need 10 years of all of that stuff to become an expert if you're building your personal brand in a way. And so I'm not going to say you're fast forwarding it, because, you obviously still have to learn those skills, but like you're kind of fast forwarding your credibility in the marketplace as somebody who has a Power Platform career. So that's, I don't know, maybe short and sweet. Point number 4. Point number 5 is to sharpen your soft skills. And so kind of like what I was talking about, and that you're not starting from ground zero, is like something that I am currently learning is just how important soft skills are. As much as the time that I spend, building flows, building apps, um, and everything in between, I'm realizing that what makes me valuable as a consultant is not my ability to do that. What makes me valuable as a consultant is being able to hear the customer, reason with the customer, ask really good questions so that they can share what it is that they need and the pain points that they have, making them feel like I really value them, not just, my billable rate, right? That like I'm there because I have a vested interest in their success, not just so that they pay me, right? And so there's a ton of different skills that go into that. And, if you really want to grow, you can't just be a robot. You need to be human. And so I think, right, and here's the AI conversation. Like I think that's more and more and more true today than ever before, right? It's no secret that TV screens and COVID and everything is making people, their social skills worse and worse and worse. And I think that it makes it even more paramount for you and for me to like hone our soft skills, because it's becoming more and more in demand, because those technical skills arguably, 5-10 years from now could be obsolete, right? And so in the same way that we don't need people hammering widgets in shops anymore, or in big manufacturing plants, we now have machines to do that. And those people are able to do more, higher value things, like being more creative or solving more world problems, because they no longer have to do that. And so AI is introducing technology that will, maybe 10 years from now, there is no such thing as the Power Platform. And it's, all done through generative AI capabilities. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to have to be able to understand and reason with the customer. So like kind of point number 1, like bringing it all the way back to the very beginning, like how do I build a career? How do I like bulletproof myself? It's learning these and sharpening these soft skills. And I just wanted to, to come on here and let you know that like that space is there within the Microsoft Power Platform, within low code development. And so, we talk a lot about soft skills on this show, a lot. And I find them really valuable, especially in terms of wanting to grow your career, because I am a firm believer that the soft skills are what actually make a difference. In that if you want to become really valuable in the marketplace, at the end of the day, people who are just technical are more replaceable than people who are, have those soft skills. Like, there's always going to be another person who can write a Power Automate flow, or another person who is better than you at writing a Power Automate flow. But is there a person who can write a Power Automate flow and connect with the customer in the way you do, and let your personality shine through, and that your mix of character traits and personality really meshes well with them, and your, what's the word I'm looking for? Not reputation, but, rapport with the customer has been built and everything. Like, no, you are one of one in that way. So that's kind of point number 5. And, this, if you are still listening, I guess kind of starting to bring this video to a close. Like, if you are still listening, you are a real one. And I know that you want to level up, in that you want to make a difference, and that you want to grow your career. And so, like, if that is you, like, I totally respect and admire that, and that those traits in you, because I like to think and hope that I am the same way. And I just wanted to share, like, what it's kind of been like for me. I must admit, I'm kind of nervous about posting this, because I feel like it is really transparent into the amount of money I make. And I really, really do not want people to, receive this and be like, dang, he, especially like maybe my friends and stuff outside of work. And I keep it pretty jaded as far as, what I make and what I do and different things. And so I, but I just can't help but feel like, man, I need to share. I wish I was in college and saw a video like this and was like, hey, like, you could do low code software development and love it. And I do. And so if you are still listening, you are an absolute real one. Like, truly, I don't know I don't know how else to tell you. So I appreciate you being here. The Power Talk series, we always talk about, the Power Platform, Microsoft Dynamics, but more importantly, career development, soft skill development. And I'm bringing other experts on, other Microsoft MVPs, other people with way more experience and expertise than me, and just picking their brain on how they have grown their careers, how they've grown to love what they do, why they do it, what their passions are and what they're passionate about, why they see the Power Platform, low-code development, generative AI as the future of technology, how they're finding it revolutionizing businesses and all sorts of things. So if that is interesting to you, highly recommend you subscribe. As well, I just want to ask you, like, if you are here, let me know down in the comments down below, and seriously, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Another link in the description down below is to my LinkedIn profile. I would love to connect with you and just hear that you are here and ready to level up this year and, achieve your goals that you have of, whether it's financially or career-wise or whatever. So thank you so much for being here. At the end of every episode, we have the after hours happy hour, and I have it's funny. My after hours happy hour section today is, I am feeling a little under the weather, and I am currently training for, right now I'm just cardio training, but it's to eventually start half marathon training. And I just want you to know, like, if you are sick, like me, I just want to, like, you are so brave, if you are sick and not doing anything besides just laying in bed. I feel like everyone is sick right now, but or has been sick over the last 6 weeks. It's just, I don't know, the winter season, I guess. I'm recording this and when this is going up, so I'm sick. It's brutal. As far as the sickness really isn't, but trying to work out while you're sick, like, it's just disheartening. Like, I move so much slower, and I get so much more exhausted faster, and I need so much more sleep, and I'm so much more tired when I wake up. So, but it's okay. I like to think that it's somehow good for me, and so that's kind of, I guess, where I'm at right now, as well. It's funny. You ever let me know if you're the type of person who has like 40 different notebooks, and each one only has like the first 10 pages filled, and then the rest of the notebook is blank. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, you lose it, or you buy a new one because you like the cover or whatever, and you start on it and then you stop and you buy a new one, whatever. So I officially just filled an entire notebook. I had been using the notebook for about 2 years, and last week I just filled all like 200, I think it was like 205 pages of it. So I'm on to notebook number 2, volume 2. Maybe it's corny, but that's okay. I finished the volume 1 notebook, and so I'm on to the volume 2. That's also what is new in my life. I find I really have enjoyed just writing. Not necessarily, I mean, kind of just writing my thoughts, getting stuff out of my head. Maybe it's YouTube ideas, but I find that just writing stuff down and getting it out of my head has been really valuable for me. And just, I don't know, something about getting it out of my head so I don't have to feel like I need to store it in my head. I can just know it's written down, it's stored, and then, you know, I'm able to think about something else or not be so consumed by it. So I've been enjoying writing. On to volume 2. So completed a notebook. Now I just need to complete the actual pen. I'd be shocked if anyone has ever like been writing with a pen and finished all of the ink in the pen before losing the pen. I would be impressed. So, but I'm almost there. I'm almost there with a pen. So thank you so much for being here. If you are still here listening, you are truly just here listening to me yap about nonsense. So you are a real one. I truly consider you a friend, and a real one. You're awesome for being here. So thank you to you for sticking to the end of the video. My name is Griffin Lickfeld, the host of the Citizen Developer Channel and Power Talk series, and I'm excited to connect with you in the next one.